what Trump really destroyed. The dark truth behind USAID by Shoe on Head.
Donald Trump, along with Elon Musk, have created a new government agency called Doge. And what I originally thought was just an older sibling giving a younger sibling an unplugged video game controller actually turned into a real thing. And their first order of business was dismantling USAID.
So heckin' base, dude.
An innocent government program that helped poor people all around the world. Or was it?
I don't think we should help any poor people. I think we should give more to the rich.
Hello and welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. I am Shoe on Head and I am not real. I am a figment of your imagination. You have been in a coma since 2012. Wake up.
We need to turn poor people into biofuel.
Wake up. Today we will be talking about the dark, seedy underbelly of USAID. This is a topic I've been interested in for a very long time now.
More like the US has AIDS.
And now that recently USAID has been in the news, I figured it is a perfect time to finally talk about it. All the mainstream liberal coverage I've seen of this has basically been late night talk show hosts.
Oh my god, it's a good thing I have my soy blockers on. Stephen Colbert!
Crying fake tears about it being dismantled. And all the mainstream Republican coverage has just been
Sean Hannity. And this guy on the right is an absolute dog. This guy's a problem.
about all the woke shit USAID was apparently funding. But I promise you, it is more than that. A lot more. If you're not a very political person and you only come here to consume the Reddit gender war slop, you should still stick around for this because—
That's me. I'm apolitical. I have to wait for Asmongold and Hassan to formulate their opinions before I can develop one of my own.
So Donald Trump and Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. Get it? Like the Reddit meme from 2012?
Holding a white Monster can. She knows her audience. Since I'm an athlete, I'm always strapped with the Gatorade squeeze bottle.
12. Epic bacon, my fellow memers. Honestly, who am I to talk about dead memes? My username is Shoe on Head. So Doge's supposed goal seems to be cutting useless spending the government is making us pay taxes on. Now, I have very mixed feelings about taxes. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Taxation is theft!
It's my birthday. It's literally my birthday. And only the shareholders wished me a happy birthday. It's crazy.
The tree of liberty will be refreshed with the blood of tyrants! My opinion has always been, if we are going to pay taxes in this country, could they at least go to things that actually help people, like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, child tax credits, firefighters, fixing our bridges and roads, castrating pedophiles, government-funded girlfriends, things like that. And yes, we should be auditing the government.
Based.
I think that's a good thing. Frankly, I don't care who does it as long as they do it well. Good things are good, bad things are bad. I'm anti-bad things, pro-good things. Those are my politics. And hating libertarians. Just kidding, I love libertarians. I get along great with them.
If you work out, you don't need Medicaid or Medicare. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about this. Everybody that's clinging to Luigi, free Luigi, I want back shots from the hot Italian murderer. They're all fat, obese, haven't seen the sun in 7 years, and their parents hate them, and they're poor. But if they worked out, bench 225, saw the sun, sun and steel, read Mishima, Peterson, Yoon, Nietzsche, they wouldn't need any of that.
As long as we don't talk about child labor. Anyway, Doge got straight to work, firing government workers and basically hiring my Twitter mutuals. What was once a theater kid-occupied government is now a right-wing schizo poster-occupied government. No, I am not joking.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could
Incredibly based. It's my guy, Big Balls.
refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What was his name? Oh, one more time. It's like, I just can't hear you, like we're on air. Can you just say his name one more time?
If you had told me 10 years ago that Donald Trump and Elon Musk would hire some Zoomer named Big Balls to help audit the government, I'd believe it. Like, yeah, that checks out. They have no relevant experience. Most of them aren't old enough to rent a car. They're not even old enough to rent a car. They're in their 20s.
You gotta be 25 to rent a car. Nobody talks about this.
We sent 18-year-olds to go die in the wars you cheerlead on, you evil hag. Why are they so focused on the ages of these people when our government is basically a retirement home?
That's my boy, Bountiful Scrotum.
But honestly, I don't blame Hillary Clinton.
That's my guy, Huge Sack.
If I were her, I also wouldn't want 22-year-olds in the government.
She was 22 when she gave him the sloppy toppy. When she gawked his shit, sloppy style.
Months before dismantling the Department of Education, or apparently Sesame Street, Doge's first order of
We need Sesame Street in Afghanistan. Is that what she's referencing?
dismantling the Department of Education, or apparently Sesame Street.
Wait. Sesame Street, Afghanistan. What we know about the claims USAID funded Sesame Street TV show in Iraq. That's insane that's even a headline.
Doge's first order of business was dismantling USAID.
Without providing any proof, Elon
Oh, the soy!
said USAID is a criminal organization. Oh, yeah. They're an international crime syndicate held
It's Barney and the jihadis. While we're slopping, bombs are dropping.
bent on helping people.
Pretty f***ed up, huh? Taking money away from an aid program that helps poor people all around the world. Except USAID was not exactly that. In fact, it
Wasn't USAID funding political commentators, influencers, and social media personalities?
doesn't even f***ing stand for aid. It stands for United States Agency for International Development.
It's our PSYOP program.
It has f*** all to do with aid. But honestly, I don't blame you for thinking it does. After all, they do make the word aid a different color in the logo. Those sneaky bastards. Although it said USAID provides 42% of global aid, the truth is most of those funds are just spent—
Where's my USAID money? What the fuck? I'm building a disruptive media empire, Third Eye Global. No aid, no capital slid across my desk. I gotta take it up with legal and HR. This is insane.
paying US contractors, and secretly conducting regime change all around the world. In fact, 80% of all USAID funding goes to just 75 organizations, while only 6% of that goes to aid. And by auditing USAID, Doge exposed the true, real puppet masters behind the secret cabal of evil masterminds funding the woke ideology spreading all around the globe. You. Yes, it was you, American taxpayer. Turns out the deep state was the friends we made along the way. And yes, it's true, we are spending billions of dollars in our tax money to fund things like teaching Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language.
See, I see a lot of this floating around, and it's just hilarious on the surface level. But is this true? Chat, is this fucking real? Teaching Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language.
Combating disinformation in Kazakhstan.
Booty in Baghdad. Condoms for Cambodia. Combating disinformation in Kazakhstan.
Promoting inclusion in Vietnam. Millions to an Armenian LGBT group. Millions to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. Millions for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans. Millions for LGBT activism
Yes, we need LGBT activism in Uganda.
in Uganda. Millions for atheism in Nepal. Millions for male circumcision around the world. And $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. And many other things that were so ridiculous I had to double check to make sure I wasn't being trolled. Taxpayer-funded sex changes in Guatemala? We don't even do that here! Now, you might be saying, Shoo, this seems like some stupid anti-woke shit. And yeah, kind of. You got me. But I ask you, young naive liberal, why the f*** was John Bolton once the head of USAID? John Bolton, for those of you who are unaware, is an infamous neocon hack. He's literally criticized Trump for not being enough of a warmonger. Neocon hacks, for those same few of you who are unaware, are the people in our government responsible for meddling with other countries.
How does this not radicalize you? Some of my taxpayer money went to sex changes in Guatemala.
All around the world, and getting us into wars for basically funsies. The people who suck the teat of Raytheon, Boeing, etc. The military
This is the CIA psyoping their ops. That's what it seems like. This has intelligence written all over it.
industrial complex's favorite Discord kittens. These guys come in shades of red
Let's see if we could just fucking sow chaos in Uganda.
and blue. So why was John Bolton, a red guy, in charge of the same program, USAID, that is sending American taxpayer money to foreign countries to have things like trans pride parades? The truth is, the USAID thing goes a lot deeper than what a lot of Republican commentators are saying. It wasn't just a bunch of libtards in government wasting our money on
Sure seems like it.
stupid woke things. No, there's way more than that. You see, it's current year and we can't just do old-fashioned imperialism anymore. The people don't like that. It's a new era, so we have to dress it up in glitter and rainbows. To put it bluntly, USAID is nothing but another form of taxpayer-funded regime change, wearing an innocent mask of aid. Shut up, Shu! You dumb bimbo populist! You reactionary shitlord! You cry, tears running down your fat, retarded face. The United States is just giving foreign countries billions of dollars out of the kindness of their hearts! Oh yeah? I have a lovely bridge on sale down the road. Would you like to buy it? Listen, despite all its faults, I love America, and I love the American people. But if you believe the corrupt, greedy bureaucrats running the deep state of this country do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, you are a sweet, innocent angel, and you need to be protected at all costs. I especially side-eye any leftist who has the nerve to run defense for USAID, especially those who call themselves
Guys, Huonhead is my favorite based YouTuber. This is where I get all my information from.
socialists or commies, considering the fact that USAID was basically originally created to destroy communist countries all around the world.
Yep, the CFO here at Third Eye Global came to the conclusion that this is unacceptable, and Philion, the CEO, actually needs to get to the bag ASAP. So if some of that USAID money wants to start flowing in, I will gladly take it. Crypto rug pulls, pump and dumps, Ponzi schemes, course selling. Nothing is below me at this point.
Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy under the noble guise of aiding developing nations, USAID was, in many respects, an instrument during the Cold War to counter Soviet influence and keep the Third World from crafting its own socioeconomic model.
We're just psyoping third world countries to get them to avoid communism? That is so based.
A year after President John Kennedy created USAID in 1961,
Listen, anything but communism, okay? We'd rather you be gay than be a communist.
he told its directors that, as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you. It wasn't long before the CIA spotted an opportunity to extend its reach. In 1962, USAID launched its Office of Public Safety to send agents around the world under the guise of training police officers. But as it turned out, the trainers were busy teaching enhanced interrogation techniques, a euphemism for torture. The scandal broke out in 1966, and although the office was finally shut down in 1974, the dark practices persisted within
It's shut down. Just evolved.
military and intelligence circles. By 1980, USAID Administrator John Gilligan was candid enough to describe the agency as nothing more than a graduate school for the CIA. At one time, many aid field offices were infiltrated from top to bottom with CIA people, he said. It was pretty well known in the agency who they were and what they were up to. The idea was to plant operatives in every kind of activity we had overseas, government, volunteer, religious, every kind. USAID was quickly nicknamed the CIA's little sister. Oh, and here is John Bolton holding a trophy given to him by USAID.
This guy's got some stories. I want to have a beer with this gentleman.
In the shape of a hand grenade. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. So let's talk about Zun Zaneo, shall we? Sit down. I love this story. Taken directly from Wikipedia, Zunzaneo was an online social networking and microblogging service created by the United States Agency for International Development, aka USAID, and marketed to Cuban users. It was covertly developed as a long-term strategy to encourage Cuban youths to revolt against the nation's government. The developers aimed to use
Who's funding Hassan? That's what I want to know.
non-controversial content, such as sports and music, to build up subscribers and then to slowly introduce political messages through social bots to encourage dissent in an astroturfing initiative. So basically, USAID created a fake-ass social media platform in Cuba with our tax dollars, flooded it with bot content about like sports and music and whatever.
Oh, kind of like what China's doing with TikTok.
Just to make it seem normal, then slowly started to manipulate the users and create political division on the app between Cuban citizens in order to create political chaos in this country and a potential uprising. So yeah, how dare we take money away from those starving undercover agents? To make things even more sus, the money we spent on Zunzaneo was publicly documented as an unnamed project in Pakistan. Yes, this fake-ass social media psyop they created in Cuba was documented by our government as being a project in Pakistan. Now, think of all the other weird shit USAID was supposedly funding. Those sex changes in Guatemala. Were they really sex changes in Guatemala? Or were they some covert...
Yes. They chopped my penis off when I was visiting my family in Guatemala.
psyop being done somewhere else in the world? I guess we'll never know now. Using social media to divide the
Sex changes in Guatemala was actually waterboarding in Bangkok.
masses and create political division. You don't think... No. They wouldn't do that. I mean, it's kind of weird they asked the former founder of Twitter to help with this project, but no. They would only do social media psyops in other countries, right? Right? In March 2024, a document was exposed that revealed USAID was running covert psyops all around the internet in order to combat populist misinformation about the government on Twitch, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and 4chan. Although its internal justification was halting the flow of mis- and disinformation,
Well, 4chan just got shut down and it was littered with federal agents.
it seemed particularly concerned with malinformation, a concept it defines as speech that is factually correct but misleading.
Bothersome truths the US government would prefer the public not to know.
I.e., bothersome truths the US government would prefer the public does not know. USAID suggests directing the public toward mainstream corporate sources of information and psychologically inoculating them against inconvenient facts that
Inoculation is a communication theory term from the hypodermic needle model of communication.
challenge US power by
It's literally psyop shit.
pre-bunking information before people see it. Pre-bunking includes discrediting the brand, the credibility, and reputation of those making false allegations. In other words, a state-directed attack against alternative
I don't even get it because, like, why does the US government need secrets in the first place? We have the F-22 Raptor and the B-2 Spirit. Enemy AC-130 above.
media and critics of the US government. So basically, USAID was funding a bunch of dorks to go all around social media and be like, source? Every time someone criticizes the government. This is somehow more pathetic
I think some of them went on over to Reddit and they're actively discrediting the CEO of Third Eye Global.
than when I used to use an alt account to defend myself on BreadTube subreddits. That is basically what our government was doing. Also, I like how this implies the people you called a Fed online might have actually been a Fed. There is a chance that you may have fought with a federal agent, a USAID federal agent on Twitter or 4chan.
Dude, I want to fight a federal agent IRL just to see what he's got, you know? Just to see if he's got the sauce like that. Quick little sparring session. Fucking toast his ass.
This also implies that, like, streamers and social media influencers may have been funded by USAID.
I fucking wish, bro. I wish! How come they never invite me to these board meetings? I think it's because they're scared of the influence we will have. I'm not delusional. I just have a vision with a 12-month runway.
But who? Who among us? Who would be willing to unquestionably, enthusiastically suck establishment cock that hard?
For all the bad stuff America does around the world, USAID was just an organization that did a lot of nice things.
There's no way, bro. Destiny was funded by USAID.
Like, it put a lot of money into efforts to help people in a variety of ways, like both materially and culturally. It's just like a nice way for the United States to have a positive presence around the world.
For the record, I do not actually believe Destiny is being funded by USAID.
God damn it!
I just thought that transition was funny. I fucking love that quote though.
Now I'm getting psyoped.
USAID was just a nice organization that did a lot of nice things, like culturally help people around the world. Culturally help people? Why are we in the business of cultural imperialism? Why do we have to culturally enrich?
Wait, I thought all cultures were equal and relative. I thought one culture can never be superior or inferior to another.
Latin America or the f***ing Balkans. So not only are we the world police, but we are now the world HR department? No thank you. Why are we spending billions of dollars doing f***ass shit in other countries while ours crumbles? I don't care about teaching gender studies to Ugandans. The pothole in front of my house hasn't been filled in 3 years.
That's a fact. That's actually a fact. I care more about my immediate experience with the world than I ever will with randos who don't give a flying fuck about me.
These are my taxes.
And that's why you're a Nazi fascist.
And I believe my taxes should go to help people in my country. I don't think that's controversial to say. And I know many conservatives agree with me. I'll always hear them say, we can't be spending money in Ukraine. We have to take care of our own. And then they just don't take care of their own. Because that's socialism or communism or something. Listen, do you actually want to take care of your own? Do you actually want your taxes to go towards helping the poor and sick and families
No, I wanted to go to Transmaxers in North Korea.
in this country? Are you actually America first, or are you corpos and foreign countries first? I'm more than happy to work with you on good things to fix this country. But I don't think the establishment GOP is.
You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work.
First of all, Medicaid is for anyone who needs it, period. And second of all, 29-year-old guys? You mean your fucking voter base? You mean the very demographic that is shifting the entire country in your direction? Those guys? Yeah, we're just wasting so much money helping young men. Those greedy gamers just gobbling up all the tax money. Not massive tax cuts to corporations and the rich. Not all the money to the bloated military-industrial complex. No. Gamers. Young men who can't find a job, can't afford a house, can't afford college. Young men who
It's all a skill issue.
can't build a family because of the society you created. Those guys, they need to pull
That's why you need to become a passport, bro. Clap some foreign cheeks, you know?
themselves up by their bootstraps and pay for their own Medicare. This care isn't for them, it's for women. What? Great to know both sides of the establishment fucking hate young men. Anyway, sorry, I popped off.
As a 27-year-old man, it's true that we do run this shit. That's right.
Let's get back on topic. Now, USAID did do some good things. I won't deny that. But even some of the good things USAID did were nothing but a bunch of fronts. Using Cuba as an example again, because these are some of the only ones that have been exposed so far, there was a USAID program called the Travelers Project that was said to be an HIV prevention workshop. But yet again, it was nothing but another covert regime change psyop. This was exposed in 2014 by the Associated Press.
So these hilarious alliteration names for these operations are just covers for deeper CIA intelligence operations.
Young Venezuelans and Peruvians were deployed by USAID
Viagra for Venezuelans. Coke for Colombia.
to Cuba's college campuses for $5.41 an hour. Really, USAID? Billions of dollars force feminizing mice and you can't even pay your spies a living wage? Sad. Anyway, they were used to recruit college students into political organizations with the goal of turning them against their government. The goal of, once again, creating political division. In the exposed memos about this, USAID called their HIV workshop the, quote, perfect excuse. Right. But we're totally funding DEI in Vietnam for pure humanitarian reasons, I'm sure. This was done so sloppily that even our boy John Bolton came out and disavowed it, but not without saying he thought it was a good idea in principle. Yes, it's a great idea
Fenton Fallujah. Meth for Mexico.
to create taxpayer-funded secret psyops all over the world in order to f*** with other countries' politics. Just don't recruit teenagers to do it next time, okay? What? I honestly just think it's kind of funny we were funding anti-socialist agendas all around the world and disguising it as social progressivism. Don't think too hard about that one. Now, Cuba wasn't the only place USAID was culturally helping. On January 12th, 2010,
So, if you were to position this to somebody on the alt-left, what would they say this is? Reactionary slop? Anti-woke garbage? Because to me, it seems as if dismantling USAID was literally beneficial, bar none. No frills attached. How could you be against this? A Cold War era intelligence think tank that had remnants in modern society that just got gutted, where there was insane amounts of spending for the spreading of disinformation and pre-bunking material. This is protectionist, isolationist, and xenophobic. Yeah, but we just learned that these are bullshit programs that don't actually do what they're intended to do. They're fronts and masks. They are allergic to logic. Okay. Okay. Thank you for reminding me.
7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti, killing 220,000 people, injuring another 300,000, and leaving 1.5 million more homeless. In the wake of the catastrophe, the United States provided $1.6 billion in reconstruction funding to Haiti, $651 million of which went to USAID. Rather than
Like, this just pisses me off, because you'll read about, fucking Operation Midnight Climax, where the CIA spied on a prostitute with a unsuspecting victim, hopped up on LSD through a peephole and drove them to insanity so that they would then go and jump off a fucking terrace and commit self-deletion. Like, we know that happened. You can literally Google it and read through it, cozy up to the information, but like it's almost like the US doesn't answer to anyone. So it doesn't matter. That's why I'm saying they don't even need secrets. Because are you going to sue the US government? The dollar is backed by the mighty reach and wingspan of the bald eagle.
than employing Haitian construction companies, USAID contracted out the rebuilding projects to international firms. For instance, Minnesota-based construction firm Thor was awarded $18 million in contracts, and Mexico-based firm Cemex received over $7 million. But by far the largest recipient of USAID funding in Haiti was Washington, D.C. based contractor Chemonics International, who received over $200 million to carry out a total of 141 projects. In fact, USAID awarded more money to Chemonics than to the entire Haitian government in the wake of the earthquake.
These programs are needed. The USA has to control the narrative. So true.
An audit conducted on Chemonics revealed that the company had a tendency to not finish jobs, evaluated its own project on arbitrary criteria not having to do anything with the project, and failed to set timelines.
I need a government contract now.
Causing some projects to fall behind schedule. In one case, Chemonics was contracted to build Haiti's new parliament building, but what they constructed came out half-finished and unusable. The company only built the framework of the building, not even erecting interior walls to divide office spaces, nor did they bother to furnish the building. Left with this, the Haitian government was forced to draw $775,000 from its public treasury to complete the project. Despite these disastrous results, Chemonics to this day remains USAID's top contractor. The construction company was awarded $506.4 million in contracts in 2021 alone. In a leaked email exposed by WikiLeaks, they described
Isn't Haiti run by a cannibal? Isn't there no government in Haiti? How are they getting any work done?
this tragedy as a gold rush, ensuring that it would be great for international companies. Seems like the only thing they are culturally helping is their own wallets, am I right? And you know how you always hear about how poor people are in Venezuela and how the politicians are so rich and live in luxury? Yeah, part of that has to do with USAID. Billions of dollars of aid we sent to Venezuela just lined the pockets of US-backed politicians there. Only 2% of the aid we sent to Venezuela actually went to help Venezuelans. So at this point, the whole world was basically sick of USAID's bullshit. In 2013, Bolivian President Evo...
Even if the USAID money was sent to help the poor people, under those programs, I don't even think that's helping. Like, who's to say fucking condoms in Cambodia is a helpful program? How does that help anyone?
Morales expelled USAID officials from his country on the grounds that the agency had conspired against his government by allegedly manipulating social movements in the country. He also charged that a previous USAID program that sought to help cocoa farms switch to new crops was politically motivated. Russia expelled the agency in 2012 for similar reasons. Its foreign ministry argued in a statement that USAID attempts to influence—
Wait, so how does this make Trump the bad guy? Why is Elon a cringe chungus? If the power team, the dynamic duo, is shutting down BS programs. I don't know the logic either. That's why I asked you guys, how is this bad? I don't see a single problem with shutting down USAID. Like I said, in my opinion, it seems like a relic of the Cold War that was used as a PSYOP program, or the younger brother of the CIA, to control the narrative in various countries and prevent communist Soviet influence. And that manifests with numbers on a screen where we say 500 million sent to chemonics in Haiti, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's just government money being shuffled around, and it's lining the pockets of the people lucky enough to be in those positions. It's not actually helping anyone. It's not doing anything. If this was a spreadsheet, they're just literally dicking around in Excel and using people as literal pawns.
Its political processes through its grants. And in February, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary Francis Kimimya claimed that his government had evidence that USAID had hired activists to organize anti-government protests in Nairobi in an effort to topple the government. Oh, and if you're wondering why so many news outlets and journalists were freaking out over the potential shutting down of USAID, yeah, it's probably because it's where their paychecks were coming from. Yeah, apparently USAID was funding about 6,200 journalists and 707 news outlets all across the world.
Dude, there's just no way. There's no way. Holy shit. Like, I heard that in passing. But does that not shatter your worldview? I guess if you're a turbo normie and you trusted journalists and media in the first place, it would. Or it wouldn't because you're still psyoped.
Not even just America. For example, the editor-in-chief of a Ukrainian news outlet wrote that destroying USAID was a greater threat to Ukrainian journalism than the Russian invasion. What? There were independent outlets shutting down everywhere, including Russia after the USAID freeze. So we were apparently funding media in both Ukraine and Russia.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Serbia, Moldova, all across Latin America, independent outlets shutting down everywhere. All because the little sister of the CIA can't pay no mo. So I have a question. Why the f*** were we funding media in all these other countries? Well, the CEO for the Center of
Narrative control, baby.
Investigative Reporting, a USAID-supported Bosnian media organization, said it best. Quote, "If you are funded by the US government, there are certain topics that you would simply not go after, because the US government has its interests that are above all else." Oh, I guess that answers my question. USAID is also ridden with other scandals, such as covering up a child sex abuse ring in Kenya, kidnapping and torturing people in Uruguay, forced sterilizing 300,000 Peruvian women.
I mean, this is just another day at the office of the bald eagle, baby.
And the famous one you all know, funding drug production in Afghanistan. Oopsie poopsies, we did little fucky wuckies. Now think about all the other shit that hasn't been exposed.
Dude, if you've never talked to a woman and this is your emotional outlet.
And the famous one you all know, funding drug production in Afghanistan. Oopsie poopsies, we did little fucky wuckies.
You probably just exploded.
Now think about all the other shit that hasn't been exposed. These aren't mistakes, these aren't—
She's kawaii! She's like an anime girl!
flukes, these aren't little fucky wuckies. This is what this program was set out to do. This is why it was created. We were quite literally funding Globo Homo as a sneaky way to do regime change in
Globo Homo.
American intervention. Or do you think we're spending $1 million in Nepal to promote atheism because Hinduism is such a threat? You're cute.
It is, actually. We just celebrated Easter, okay? Christianity. Jesus Christ. A fucking 9-armed elephant god, what are we doing? Wake up.
Cute. The United States won't sleep until there's an ugly progress flag hanging on Starbucks on every corner of every street all over the world from Latin America to the Middle East. Ah yes, the greatest American exports. Butt, sex, and war. There are a shit ton of old left-wing articles you can find online spanning back to like...
So, this may be a bit, dare I say, controversial, but this is why you come to the Third Eye Global Disruptive Media Network. I have a theory, which is kind of deep state adjacent, but I think at the top level of the US government, the executive decisions that are made are literally amoral and are only made to put America in the best position possible on the chessboard every single time. Now let me extrapolate that. I think social issues like LGBTQ, right? That whole umbrella, I'll just use that as an example, is literally below the US government. Like, I don't think they actually care about that at all. I think it's bread and circuses for the people. And if you look at what they did with USAID, that's exactly what they're doing. They're treating it as an astroturfing campaign across the globe. They're literally just like putting their ducks in order. But you have people voting on these issues, you know, in federal elections. But I just don't think it's even on their radar. I don't think that's what's actually like threatening to them.
2010, even earlier, about how evil USAID is. Now suddenly liberals are acting like it's another fucking beacon of democracy that we have to cry and piss and shit about just because it's Trump getting rid of it. Frankly, I don't care. If they start dismantling things that I do care about, things that do actually help the American people, then I will care. Expose where the trillions of dollars we spent on the Iraq war went next, please. Or, you know, actually release the Epstein files.
Like, anytime a president actually sits down and like signs something into law that's like progressive or fucking, I don't know, I just see like a sheen of fakeness. It's never just like a true authenticity. Maybe that's me being schizo, but everything seems to be fake. And gay. Is this where fake and gay comes from? USAID? USAID is doing population control programs overseas. You're going to have to explain that. Late to the stream, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything. And you're not late to the stream, you're early to the movement.
Do I think Doge cut USAID because they're our great comrade in arms, cutting off the tentacles of American imperialism? No. Trump probably just cut it because he thought it was a woke, gay waste of money, and it was. But as far as I'm concerned, every article written about how bad dismantling it was written by John Bolton himself. Like the president of Colombia said, "Take your money with you. It's poison." All the sources I use in this video and all the information I got for this video will be in links down below. Feel free to do your own research.
I'm so base, I don't even need a source anymore. I'll just take your word for it. Because if you don't have your word, then what do you have? Nothing.
As always. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing. A lot of you aren't subscribed, apparently. You just watch and...
You mean Nancy Pelosi kneeling in an African garb wasn't authentic? Or like when top politicians go to Israel and like kiss the wall? I mean, you could... Yeah, I mean... All these performative acts of allegiances and alliances, I don't think any of these people give a flying fuck. It's literally just photo op after photo op to entertain the people, to quell the masses.
Fuck off. I will find you. Also, this video is most likely going to be demonetized, so if you can and if you want to, please donate to me on Patreon, link down below. It helps the channel so much, and I appreciate it. And I will see you next time with a less serious...
Yeah, you got Nancy Pelosi in the Wakanda garb. How is she the #1 stock trader in the world? What the fuck?